So what's today at Lambdatest, as of today while we speak, so we have live interactive functional testing, which is more of manual testing. And then we built automation testing cloud where you can run your test across 2000 plus combination browsers and operating system. And we have full page screenshot as well as responsive debugging with LT browser. So on the automation overview, so what we have built as of today, so we have built, like I said, a complete Selenium. We've taken Selenium brick on the cloud, and where you can instantly test 2000 plus mobile and desktop browsers. We also have given the provision to run headless browser test across the Chrome and Firefox version it supports. And with this, we also have provision for you to run parallel tests so that you can reduce your test execution time and increase your test browser coverage. And our enterprise tunnel, Lambdatest tunnel, which is built for enterprise. And there's one more feature that we launched just yesterday is the performance insights. So we've done Google Lighthouse integration yesterday in our product release, where you'll also be able to see the performance insights of the tests that you run on the web pages bar. So our platform as of today has over 100 plus integrations, which is where you don't need any third-party solution. It's all integrated, built by Lambdatest and maintained by Lambdatest. We have framework-ready integrations, DevOps integration with CI/CD tools, automation plugin, and we also have integration with communication tools like Microsoft Teams, Slack, whatever you use in-house, you'll be able to integrate, and just with a single click, you'll be able to push your bugs into this communication tools. With the CI/CD, you can schedule your tests correctly. And with the framework integrations, we cover majority of the frameworks today. And we also have automation plugin, which will help you to run your tests, like for Jenkins plugin, NPM, Selenium, and bug tracking and project management. If there's any user using different or any team using different project management tools, they'll be able to integrate their accounts directly to push the one-click bug logging out there.
Next, we'll see how you can integrate both Lambdatest and Leapwork for better browser coverage. Let me quickly set up an agent and show you how we can take this forward. So once you click on the new button and just go to Lambdatest over here, you can see the fields that you will get in this dialog box. And you can provide a title over here depending upon which configuration you're spinning or anything that goes up to you. So just say in case I want to run my test on Windows 10. So in that case, I'll just keep it Lambdatest Windows 10, just to have it more meaningful, because I have multiple agents configured. I already practiced Leapwork earlier. So because of that, and just say demo, or just yeah. So having said that, we've mentioned the description and title to give us an idea about what this agent is all about. And now we need to provide a host name over here. Now, host name, username, and access key is something that you will get from our platform itself. So you need to log into Lambdatest for that. So by default, when you log into Lambdatest, you'll be routed to real-time testing. This is basically a live interactive form of testing. But since we're concerned with automation, you need to hop onto this menu. And over here in automation, you need to go to this key icon. This key icon will provide you with a hub URL as well as username and access key. So for my hub URL, I will basically configure it as hub.lambdatest.com. And I can copy my my username from here. Similarly, access key. And what this URL is basically conveying, it's basically providing you the entire remote server URL. But since we are already adding the username and access key over here, we only need to focus on this part, which is the hub.lambdatest.com as our hostname. And it's something that we have already specified. So just clearing that out. And now that we have mentioned these details, I just need to decide on which platform I need to run my test. You can see we can decide on Mac OS, Android, iOS, any browser. And similarly, the latest variable here over would help me to run the test over the latest Chrome browser available at Lambdatest. And I can also decide which particular screen resolution I want to spin up my machine onto. And say, for example, I need to keep it on this resolution. And then I can go ahead and hit save. But before we do that, it's pivotal that we check if the connection is working fine or not. So make sure that you test this connection and get a green signal over here, which says that it's successful. Yeah, so we can see that this is successfully connected. Now, what this means is basically you are authenticating to Lambdatest Grid based on your account, and this conveys that all the details provided here are valid in order to run your test cases on Lambdatest. So now that we have set it up, we can go ahead and save it. So here, if you can see, we have our new agent to run the test on Windows 10. Now I can go to flows, and if over here, you can see that the preview agent is where I can get the latest agent, which was added by me right now. So we can see that the Lambdatest Windows 10 agent is already reflecting here. And once I select that, I hit the run button. And we can see that the test is in running state over here. Yeah, so Chrome was successfully started at Lambdatest, it says. And now we can go ahead and dive into the platform. And we can see that the new data is available on the platform. If I just click on it, we get our test over here. It's untitled right now because we haven't named it, but we can go ahead and change this build name at any time we want. So just for the demonstration purpose, we can quickly go ahead and keep it the same name as the agent. So yeah, so we can see that the test is being run, and if I open it, we can see that it is being triggered on Chrome 71, Windows 10, and this is the resolution, and this is the duration that it's taking, and the start time, the timestamps are there, and the status is also reflecting. So while this test it gets completed, let me take you to an already executed step where I can go ahead and demonstrate the kind of things that you can do with Lambdatest. So let's quickly open a couple of these. All right. So this is one of my previous test execution. And here, as you can see, we can get an entire video recording of the test that ran. And this is something which is pretty amazing about the product. So basically, you can come up, and we've made it easier for our user base to uh, easily debug their issues in case they run into any problem. So for example, I can see all my test names are reflecting over here, all my test cases. And any test case execution, it gets recorded entirely. So I can pretty much run that machine, and I can see how my test has been interacting, right, over the Lambdatest grid. So we can see that the test is running fine over here. This is a different test, as I said, we're just looking into a previous build right now. And once we have these this recording, other than this, we can also look into different type of logs that are provided here. So we give exception logs in case you run into any exception. Since this test, it passed successfully, there is no exception in this case. We also give command logs where you can see step-by-step command execution. And you can, what we basically do is we automatically by default capture these screenshots for you. So you can see at every Selenium command execution, what is the visual UI that your web application is reflecting. And you can go ahead, open these commands and see, all right, this is the response I'm getting. These are on these particular parameters. And then we have network logs, where we can see how the test was executing from a network perspective. So what were the method, whether it was a get method, and were we using a post method, and all these types of information. We can segregate them well. We also have raw Selenium logs in order to help you with any custom reporting framework. So if you need to extend its capability with Lambdatest, you can rely on these raw Selenium logs that are being generated over here. If in case something pops up on your console, if there is anything to be notified, we can rely on these console logs. So if you open any Chrome, and if there would be something to relay to us from console perspective, it would be reflected over here. Otherwise, it would be empty. So since the test passed over here, this is not something that we need to be concerned about, right? So other than that, we also have metadata. So this will give you all the details around the screenshots and the video that is being recorded while the test was executing. You can see the test status, what was the test ID, which browsers were included, and which operating system was there, what were the timestamps, and so on and so forth. You can also see the response and which capabilities were passed and what was true, what was false on these capabilities. And that's about everything. So all these logs here basically are here to help you debug things faster. And in case you have any suggestions regarding any of these logs, you can feel free to drop us any message, and we take customers' suggestions very seriously. And we are always looking to help you further on that. So we also have these build. As you can see, this is the build that I opened right now. So this filter can help me select any build that I want, right? So I can pretty much go ahead and see any other build in case I want to. So here you can see the video capability. I declared it as false. So that's why the video was not recorded, which brings me to another pointer. So all these capabilities, in case you are wondering which capabilities Lambdatest is offering and how you can play around with that. So you can go to our capability generator for that. And over here, you can find all the operating systems and browsers that you can spin up on our platform and which capabilities you need in order to make your tests run over there. So if I want macOS Big Sur to be triggered, I can simply go ahead and select it from here, and I can get the capabilities updated accordingly. And you can even shuffle different languages and see how they are reflecting over there in whichever your favorable language is for Selenium execution. If you go to advanced configurations, you can see that we have capabilities for network logs, console logs that I just reflected. So all these things, if set to true, will reflect information on your Lambdatest dashboard. And similarly, we have step-by-step command screenshots that we just looked into. So if these capabilities are set to true, you can pretty much go ahead and do those, get that data over your Lambdatest dashboard. You can even change your countries in case you want to test from different geolocations, and you want your use case requires you to change your website to specific country IP. You can pretty much go ahead and select whichever country from this list and run your tests over there as well. You can even run your tests on headless mode, and you can do a lot of stuff. So this is something really cool, and you can go ahead and evaluate this better, and it would really help you to get the right capabilities in order to spin up your tests over Lambdatest. So that's about it. And yeah, so we also have this user section over here. So in case you have more than one users in your organization, you can pretty much go ahead and select which tests were spun up by which user of that organization. In my organization, I'm the only user right now, so that's why I'm the only one turning up. We also have these statuses for particular test case in order to help you monitor things better. So you can see and just check if in case you want to have a look at failed test cases, and there wasn't any failed test case in this particular build. But if I just clear this filter from here, and now my filters are cleared, and if I just select the failed now, so I can see that one test case failed at this particular test bed, right? So these statuses over here can help you monitor your dashboard better and can help you maintain sanity towards your automation scripts. Let me quickly run through about what these test statuses stand for. So running and queued is basically how many tests are in the execution will be reflected in the running status. And so this running status is also reflected over here. As you can see, I have 0 by 5 reflected. That means that none of my test case is running right now, because that presumes that so this test case that was in queue previously has now been completed. So none of the test case is running right now, but if it had 2 cases over here, so it would have reflected that number over here. And I have parallel access of 5 sessions. So that's what this stands for. And what by parallel testing I mean is that you can run your script over multiple builds and configurations at the same time, right? So you can run a similar build on different browser and different operating systems at the same time if you are having parallel session access over here. And say, for example, if I have a build which has test, I have a scenario where I need to run test on 10 different builds. So 5 of them will be in the running state, 5 test cases, and the other will be queued for me. So that's what that status was for. And then we also have idle timeout status. So if in case you're not declaring the browser to terminate from the Selenium scripts, we wait for a certain time limit, and after that we close the session as idle timeout. And queue timeout, if this number gets flooded, then that's where we get the queue timeout over here. And all these things, they are reflected over that build as well. So if I open that last build that we were looking, I guess it was this one. Yeah, so you can see that this particular test, it had a queue timeout issue over here. So all these things are reflected everywhere on the dashboard. So you can easily collectively see information about each and every aspect. You can even declare tags in order to, orchestrate your builds better and see how these things are spinning. So if I know that, I need to run a particular website on Windows 10 from different system, I can go ahead and declare a tag over there. So those tags will be reflected. That's pretty much you can do with the logs. And then there's also analytics. You can go ahead and look at how many tests were run, what were the total tests run, and how many of them passed, how many of them failed. You can select the date filter, and you can even spin up different graphs over here. So you can see your pass failed ratio out of all the tests that were triggered during a particular time period. And you can have it either on test view or on build view. That's entirely up to you. And towards the bottom as well, you can pretty much come up and just see these filters over here as well. All of them, how many of them pass, how many of them fail, all of them will be segregated towards the bottom as well. On the timeline part, you can download a report of any particular test that you've executed, which is really cool. So you can come up over here and you can, for example, I just want this one to be downloaded, and you can download this report and you can explore this stuff from yourself. It's pretty cool, and we've built a lot of capabilities on the platform. It could take me forever if I were to explain each and everything, so I would leave the rest in your hands. Just go around, spin up some tests. Before I would like to address another problem. So we were talking about parallel testing. So this goes to show that I was able to run my Leapwork test on these particular devices for this particular flow. But what happens if I need to run it, run parallel testing with Leapwork and Lambdatest? So in that case, you need to rely on run lists. Over here, if you can simply create a new run list, and you can add flows to it. I have already configured a run list, and I'll just simply go ahead and run the demonstration from there, so we don't end up wasting much time. But we can add as many flows over here as we want, and then we can decide how we want to run them. We can do parallel testing, and we can even do pairwise testing with them. So that's entirely up to us how we want these to be run. And if I could just go to schedule, and I can see, right. So if you can see, I have configured 2 agents over here. So this is the latest agent that we took in consideration. So we can apply that as well. So this particular option will allow you to, perform parallel testing or pairwise testing. So if you want to check all flows on each agent, you can go with pairwise testing option. And this is the one that will let you. And for parallel, for now, we'll just go ahead. We'll divide the flow on different agents. So one flow is being taken care of by a single agent over here. So we can see that, okay, these are the 2 run lists that we have over here. And if I just click on run now, I can see the progress bar, and that explains that, my test is running fine. So now I can go to Lambdatest dashboard, and I can see that the new data is available again. If I just click on it, I can see the next build is also here. So we can just rename it to parallel testing for now. And if you look over here, you can see that the browsers have changed automatically, because my flows, depending upon the agents we specified in Leapwork, those agents have been specified over here. So we have now a test running on Windows, and another test is running on Mac operating system. So that's the capability that you can really take advantage of parallel testing and trim down your test build significantly to your test build overall time execution. Right. So if, say, for example, you have a build which takes an hour to execute, and you don't have parallel tests running, but if you do have parallel tests, and say you have parallel test access of running 2 tests at the same time, you can divide that overall time execution by half. So a test build which will take an hour to execute gets chopped down to 30 minutes. If we have 4 parallel sessions, it will chop down to 15 minutes, and so on. So this is something that you can scale as much as you like, right? So you can take as many parallel sessions as you want. And in case you need help deciding how much parallel sessions are needed for you, so you can take help from our concurrency calculator. So this will help you decide how many parallel sessions are needed depending upon your browsers and devices, and what is your requirement depending upon your test requirements. That's about everything you can do. One thing I would like to point out, we also have Selenium APIs configured, which you can take advantage of in order to extract data in bulk. So you can extract data around builds, sessions, and you can delete a build, you can delete a session. You can do it over here as well, one by one, or you can do it by bulk as well using our particular APIs. So if I would like to delete this particular build, I can simply go ahead and just click on the delete button, and there it goes. So that's about it.
In case you have any questions or you require any further information, you can chat with the team, or you can also drop us an email at support@lambdatest.com. We're here to help, and we'd love to hear from you. Happy testing!